This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News.
Alyshia, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How about you?
Wonderful. Glad
to hear it. So I can imagine that opening a business in the fall of 2019, of all of the things that you planned for and tried to be ready for, a global health crisis was not one of them.
No, that was definitely not part of the business plan going in.
So what was it like in those first few months of 2020 as the reality of COVID-19 began to set in, and this tea house and gift shop where you would welcome people inside to enjoy a spot of tea and some, nosh on some of your goodies? I mean, you have to close those doors so early in your existence. What was that, early time of COVID-19 like for you as a business owner?
Well, it was kind of a whirlwind, and I'm sure lots of other business owners would feel the same way, and it feels like we're kind of still in that tornado of whirlwind of things changing all the time. It was a very quick decision, though, and the government shut us down and said we need to close for, 10 days to flatten the curve, or 2 weeks or whatever, and here we are 14 months later. It was a really quick decision that, we're not going to close. We're going to have to just do everything by takeout. It wasn't even... it wasn't go back to the business plan and reconfigure. It was just the next day. I'm like, okay, I got to go get some to-go boxes. And heck, we're going to do this afternoon tea thing to go because that's the only option that we have now. So it wasn't a big, long planned process. It was just a quick pivot. My background was e-commerce, so set up a website. And pretty much the next day, we had a website ready to go where people could order afternoon tea to go. And I'm sure you're going to ask, but it's been a wild success since then. So it's been a whirlwind, but it's really great.
I've noticed how successful it has been just from, by virtue of the fact that you're still here all these months later and really haven't been able to, in any meaningful way, welcome people back inside the tea house just yet. Yeah,
exactly. We initially took over an existing coffee shop, so we were kind of that stop in and have a fancy coffee and snack place for the first few months when we did open in 2019. But really the shutdown of the pandemic has forced me to do what I wanted to do, which was make it an afternoon tea exclusive venue, which now we've done. So we've expanded the gifts a little bit, but really we're focused on afternoon tea, sold the espresso machine and all the coffee makers. So we're exclusively tea, and it's been great in that I got to do what I had set out to do. We did get to do some dine-in a little bit in the summer and fall, but, that's been shut down pretty much since Christmas. We never really got back into that when we were allowed to in the winter. So, yeah, it's been a few months, but we're looking forward to hopefully welcoming people back in this summer if we're permitted to do so.
So essentially, Alyshia, like so many others in the hospitality industry, you went to what we'd refer to as curbside. You've got those takeout boxes and off you go. What comes with an afternoon tea takeout?
Yeah, so afternoon tea is a really great experience for people to do at home for a special occasion or, just to beat those stay-at-home blues or blahs that we're feeling. So it's three. If you were coming for tea in the tea house here, you would have 3-tier plates that each course, I guess you could call it, would be on its own tier. But because we're not serving it on plates, we're serving it in boxes. You have 3 different boxes. You have a box of savories, which is finger sandwiches, for example, a cucumber cream cheese or, a pretzel bun or something with some savories on it. So we have several of those. Usually it's 4 or 5 per person. Then you have a tier or a box of scones with accompaniments. We make our own clotted cream, which is classic for afternoon tea with scones. And then the top tier or the third box would be your sweets. So we have mini desserts like brownies, cupcakes, tarts, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, things of that nature. It really varies depending on what we feel like making and serving and whatever the theme is. We've been doing lots of themes, so whatever the theme is of the given tea. But it's more or less three tiers of food and then a loose leaf tea that you can make at home, hot or cold. Most people have hot tea, but we'll be coming into warmer months and we can start doing some iced teas as well.
Do you remember that feeling some 14, 15 months ago, Alyshia, as this all began to set in and you realized that the business that you had just begun to build had to make this pivot? I mean, how nervous were you when it became, okay, we're doing this via takeout, here's how it's going to go, and we're going to hope for the best?
Yeah, it's very nerve-wracking, isn't it? Not knowing, the business plan was set out in such a way that it was going to be a coffee shop and we were going to do afternoon teas by reservation. And it was very, this is what we're doing. So, yeah, it's very nerve-wracking when you have to go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, that's not the plan now. But luckily, our community has been really, really supportive and really gotten behind it. They share their tea with each other, and they are organizing Zoom calls between, so they'll each pick up a box or get a box delivered, and then they connect on Zoom and connect in that way. So our community's really rallied behind the idea, and I think it's great because it's just another way to connect with people. It's maybe different than other takeout they've had, and expanding horizons and trying some new things. I think people are all about that when we can't go and do the things that we're used to being able to do out and about.
Well, speaking of community support, it wasn't long after you had to make this pivot. And again, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of the business owner that you are, and you want to keep the lights on and keep some sort of revenue coming in. But not long after you made this pivot and began just offering the takeout afternoon teas, you also reached out to me and got involved with the Farwell for Hire campaign last year in 2020. And along with some of our colleagues here at Rogers Kitchener Radio, Brady and Tara from the morning show on Chime 96.7, we did a day of delivering the afternoon teas. I think we did it was Mother's Day last year, right?
No, I think it was a couple of weekends.
Weeks after that? Okay.
Yeah, a little bit later in May.
But we were able to do that, and it was just a tremendous amount of fun for us. But what led you to decide that was something you wanted to get engaged in, even though you were just beginning this whole new experience of takeout?
Well, it's funny because I was never really a talk radio person. I never listened before. My partner did, my husband did, but it was really when I wanted to start hearing the Daily Ford and Trudeau way back a year ago. I wanted to hear what they had to say directly from the horse's mouth, and your station plays those, or did definitely back in those days. So that's when I just started listening all the time, and you just started talking about Farwell for Hire, and I'm like, oh, hey, he'll do anything? Anything? And I said, oh, you know what he could do? He could deliver some of our boxes. We do our own in-house delivery. Like, we don't use the big delivery system. So, anyone that wants to help deliver is kind of an awesome idea. So it just spun from that idea of, hey, he wants to do any job I can give him. I'm like, I have a job for him. And then it was, well, he's only one guy. How are we going to get to more people and get to more doors? And that's why when we recruited some of your radio friends to help us. So that's kind of where it sparked from originally last year.
It was a whole lot of fun. And little did you know the delivery experience I brought to your business, Alyshia. Like, I've done that before. I think, did I win the race? Or did Brady beat me? I can't remember. I think he beat me.
We'll have to keep better track this year.
Okay. But yes, I brought a wealth of delivery experience to your front door, and we were able to take those afternoon teas out and deliver them to houses around the region. Lots of fun. You helped us make lots of money for our charity, which, of course, supports cystic fibrosis. So for that, we are eternally grateful. This year, you've decided you want to do it again. I know Brian Burke, the host of Kitchener Today, is going to be helping us with the deliveries this time around as well. And you decided to take it up a notch when you first told me about this idea. I thought it sounded interesting. And then once I tasted it, I knew you were onto something. But there is a butter tart tea that you have created.
That's right, yeah. So I started in January thinking about how can we make it a little bit different this year. And so, yeah, I know you're the butter tart king of Kitchener-Waterloo. I don't know if your reign goes beyond our borders. I'm not sure how far your butter tart king title extends to, but I know you're big into butter tarts, and so I thought a butter tart tea sounds amazing. Can I make it happen? So I got a bunch of teas from our tea supplier and started blending what do I think tastes pretty good. Gave you a few samples, and I think we nailed it on a maple butter tart. So it's a black tea. It doesn't come sweetened, but I recommend adding lots of sugar, and I think you probably agree with me on that. I like it really sweet. So it's a black tea. There's caffeine in it. It's delicious. I don't know if it will replace your morning coffee, but yeah, that's what we've come up with. We put it in a fancy tin, so it's kind of a nice takeaway. And we're going to include that with our afternoon teas that we're doing with you on Sunday, May 30th.
I got to say, it was like truly, and I'm a coffee drinker daily, but I do drink the occasional tea, and the flavor of this butter tart tea to me absolutely nails it. I shared some with my mom. She texted me back about an hour later, said it was delicious. So however you did it, the mad scientist that you are, you came up with a winning combination on this one. It is really a good tasting tea.
Well, I think that means a lot coming from an avid coffee drinker that even you like it. How much sugar did you add?
You know what? The first cup I drank, I didn't add any. Because I take my coffee black, so maybe a little bit different than yours. And usually for a tea, I'm definitely a tea with honey guy. And then I put in 1 teaspoon and then 2 teaspoons just to see, where we were at. So,
yeah.
But I honestly, just drinking it black had a really nice flavor for me. So to each his own with their palate, obviously, and you can certainly add the sugar. So you mentioned on Sunday, May the 30th, this special maple butter tart tea will be included in the boxes that we're delivering with our friends here from Rogers Kitchener Radio, all in support of Farwell for Hire. But folks can just get the tea for themselves that they'd like from your shop as well.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, we're only curbside right now, so it should be ordered online just so we can make sure that we can get it to you without having to, quote unquote, shop in the store. And yeah, every tea tin that we sell, we have just over 200 to sell, and that will include the ones that we're doing with the afternoon tea package as well. $10 from every tea tin will get donated. So if you do all the math on that, $30 from each of the afternoon teas that are ordered on Sunday, May 30th will be donated to your cause. And $37 if the person that orders chooses to have it delivered by one of you and your friends. So it should be a very nice donation at the very end if we have the same level of community support that we had last year going to this great cause. It should be a nice, hefty check, and I'm really excited about it.
I saw somebody mention on our Facebook page, our Farwell for Hire Facebook page over the weekend, that they've already placed their order for Sunday, May the 30th. So people can do that now and get in the queue for one of these afternoon teas that will be delivered by us here, the folks at Rogers Kitchener Radio. Where can we go to either get that tea for ourselves even before the 30th, Alyshia, or to order that afternoon tea on Sunday the 30th?
Yep, everything is done online on our website at queenofheartskitchener.com.
I'm looking at that right now and seeing your smiling face in the About Us section of the website. So you're putting smiles on our faces for sure, raising this money that is supporting families living with cystic fibrosis in our community. Thanks for being a partner again, and truly kudos on a delicious maple butter tart tea. It's fantastic.
Wonderful. Wish you good luck in your campaign this month, and we look forward to putting you to work on the 30th.
I can't wait. Thanks, Alyshia. Stay well.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The Mike Farwell Show, weekdays from 9 to noon on 570 News. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News.